We will work alongside all DC police and federal law enforcement to ensure this city is safe.
Hello there, you awakening wonders. You know, as well as my Rumble content on Stay Free, I participate in this podcast, Actual Friends, with Dave Rubin and Sage Steele. Have a look at this moment that went viral this week.
At your direction as well, sir, there are other units we are prepared to bring in. Other National Guard units, other specialized units. They will be strong, they will be tough, and they will stand with their law enforcement partners. This is nothing new for DOD. As the president noted, at the border, we've got 10,000 troops down there who've been operating in defense cooperation areas, defense zones, where there's zero illegal crossings because of troops on strikers scanning the border. We've been protecting other people's borders for 20 years. It's about time we protect our own. And we're working with ICE and CBP. In Los Angeles, we did the same thing, working with the California National Guard, working with ICE officers. ICE officers deserve to do their job and not be attacked. We will work alongside all DC police and federal law enforcement to ensure this city is safe, this city is beautiful. And as I always say about President Trump to the troops, he has their back. And my message to the National Guard and federal law enforcement in Washington is we have your back as well.
I can understand why people would be concerned about any measures that appear to be granting, if not new, certainly novel or unprecedented powers. And I noticed that in that speech, Hegseth wanted to illustrate that these powers have been deployed elsewhere successfully, notably at the border. If you have a consensus and a mandate that what people want is DC to be cleared up and policed in a particular way, and that mandate is derived democratically, and what the agreement of your republic is that these matters are resolved through democratic process, then you don't have an argument at all. But I do feel, Sage, that we, in our position, just as like, sort of online commentators chatting about stuff, I try to, as best I can, look at what principle we are discussing rather than the issue, because the news cycle moves so quickly and so radically. It's so hazy and fluxy and confusing and baffling that I try to locate a principle. And it seems here the principle is that the justification of authority and military and law enforcement power in order to meet a certain goal. So if you're happy with it when Trump does it, would you be happy with it if someone did it in order to protect a set of principles that you didn't agree with? And I don't know, man. Personally, yeah, I think homeless people should be housed. I think that vagrancy should be taken care of. I do believe in a significant degree of social care, actually. But I certainly can see how this plays into the hands of detractors who, prior to the election of Trump, said, this guy's going to be authoritarian. He's going to make himself president for life. He's going to put police on the streets. He's going to execute the intelligentsia. Like, this is the kind of move that they will be able to point to as illustrative of their dread.
I don't live there. I visited there last week and I posted about it because I was on the National Mall and I used to call DC home. 20 years ago, I lived there. All three of my kids were born there. There are pockets that are great and beautiful, and I was encouraging tourists to come into those parts. But I imagine that if I lived there and experienced some of the things that residents are experiencing, we even had an ABC News anchor come out, and it was actually Kira Phillips. She's a wonderful journalist, and she came out on live TV and talked about how just in the last 6 months, right outside their studios, 2 people shot, 1 dead, an employee's car stolen just the other day, and she herself was jumped right outside the studio a couple of years ago. So I don't know. I don't think it should be as deep as it is. Is there an issue? What are we doing to fix it? If not enough, let Trump come fix it. And if it were Biden, I would 1,000% support it as well, because it's about the people.
Most generally, one might say that crime and public disorder are a response to poverty and different forms of dissatisfaction. And even if one don't want to lay the burden at the feet of the Trump administration, your country's been in all sorts of tumult for a long, long time. And under the Biden administration, there's been, the sort of tapering out of the opioid crisis, which for me was an indication of massive, massive pain. There's been a migration crisis in your country for a long time. There's been a sense of kind of collapse and disintegration. And
Yeah.
I suppose I'm not surprised to see a measure like this undertaken. But what I generally feel, Sage, is that when it comes to matters of law enforcement, when people don't feel that those entrusted with ensuring laws are kept are integrally connected to the community, there can be a breakdown. I feel like that what you want to feel is that the police in particular are integrated, that they live in those communities, that they're part of the community, that there's an ongoing dialogue with that community. That don't mean not being, not tolerating crime. I don't think we should tolerate violence or, I understand that. What I'm saying is don't you think, like, when we're having these conversations, you and me who are sort of aligned in enough ways to be friends, that we have a kind of responsibility to think about, well, what is the counter argument then? Like, what are they saying when, say last week when we're discussing something a bit lighter, like the Sydney Sweeney jeans or whatever, why is it that, sometimes I can't even see it. Sometimes I can't even see what the outrage is. In this instance, I can see it because they were primed by the media to regard Trump as a dictatorial figure. And now measures are being taken that grant power to a branch of at least law enforcement that don't ordinarily have control of DC. And so that
Yeah.
you can see how they're going to interpret that.
Rumble Premium is a beautiful way of getting additional content, not just from me, but from Kim Iverson, from Ruben, from Mug Club, from Timcast, some of the world's softest, fluffiest liberals. Rumble Premium gives you an ad-free experience, and you will get access to things that I wouldn't normally show anybody. Yes, that's right. My genitals. There will be no genitals. Whether it's breaking news or real talk or the content that challenges the narrative, Rumble Premium puts you in the front row. Support creators who actually say what they mean and mean what they say, who aren't just, what does it say there? Reading a script to get, what's that? Money. Yeah, you don't need none of that stuff. Go to rumble.com/premium brand and join today. That's rumble.com/premium/brand, because truth shouldn't come from a filter. Remember when the government tried to bring me down? Rumble backed me, because why? They believe in freedom. Mine, yours, everyone's. Join us. Click the link. Thanks for watching the video. Have a look at this one over here, or join us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on Rumble.